Hi, everybody. Welcome to Two Dumb Dads. I'm Chris, and this is our Adventures in Dadding side series. So, at this point, hopefully you kind of know how this goes. We used to do this in the podcast, but we've started kind of branching this off into a whole separate series where we talk about whatever's been going on in our fatherhood for the last however long. Before we get started, though, I wanted to make a quick announcement. We actually have a bonus episode out right now. If you listen to our last episode 50, whatever number that was, you'll know that we were talking about the college admission scandal. And after some consideration, I realized, I have a friend who's working in the industry who's incredibly well respected. Why don't I just reach out? Why don't I get some actual information about this and see how everything actually works? So I did just that and put together a nice little bonus episode based on our interview. And I think it's really good. I think it's something worthwhile. I think there's a lot of really great information in there. So if you haven't already, go back, check it out. It's called the bonus episode interview with Shalise Belmont. It's wonderful. She's wonderful. She's an incredibly knowledgeable person in the industry. So take a look, take a listen rather. And now for my adventure in dadding. So, I think I mentioned this a few months ago, probably last summer, actually, almost a year ago. I've started joining those parenting groups, like those Facebook parenting groups. And one of my favorite ones is something called like the place that I live in Playdates, the town that I live in Playdates. And it's really nice because it's a bunch of people who are just like, hey, we have kids. Anybody want to hang out like while our kids stand near each other? And it's cool. We haven't really used it that much because until this year, Thea wasn't really a play person. She was just kind of like an exist person. But she's really been enjoying like playing when we go to the park now, and she really enjoys being around other people. Even if but I should say she enjoys being around other people that she knows. She's still kind of shy and she doesn't like to meet new people. And so I figure like, okay, this summer I am going to reach out. I am going to do this. And so I jumped into the group and I noticed like it had been inactive for the last 6-7 months. Basically, winter, people don't meet up at each other's house because I don't know. I guess that's weird to meet up at random people's houses from Facebook. Who'd have thought? So I reached out and I kind of said like, hey, everybody, let's, I don't know if this thing is still active, but like, let's do a thing. Let's meet at this park and let's get together. Like, here is my kid. She is incredibly shy. She is going to scream and run away from your kids. Please don't take it personally. But like, we need her to get used to this. So fuck it. Let's try it. So I wrote all that and people just like were excited and enthusiastic. Yeah, ours too. Like shyness. Hooray. Let's do this. Like, let's force these kids to be within close proximity of each other. And I was excited. It was great. I was really happy about that. We have a whole thing planned for early May. Cause I guess everybody's like, but at the same time, it could possibly maybe be chilly. So let's not actually do this yet. So we'll see what actually happens. It'll probably just be like nobody shows up or whatever. But the reason I want to talk about this is because I realized, as a part of this, I came across like an interesting conundrum for myself. And I'm hoping maybe we can talk about this a little bit next week. I know we'll talk about this next week because we like to talk about the previous adventure. So here's what happened. I did this whole post. Everybody started shouting out enthusiastically. And then I get a private message from somebody. This person messages me and says, hi, we usually like to go to this other park because our child has autism and they get overwhelmed being around too many children. And so we kind of enjoy going over to this other place that wasn't the place that you suggested. It's close, but it's not the place that you suggested. Would that be okay? And so I kind of said, yeah, no, that sounds wonderful for future ones. And my logic was like, anytime there's like 20 people trying to coordinate, the second a plan is made, my philosophy is you have to stick to that plan, or else nobody, like, people are going to not see the adjustment. They're going to get confused. They're going to, like, I don't know. Like, the point is, like, something is going to happen where people don't notice the adjustment, and subsequently nobody will like just lose faith in plans. People will feel like they were ghosted. They will feel like they were abandoned, and subsequently, like all plans in the future are optional. So, like, nope, I have said this publicly. I'm going to stick to what I have said publicly, but I will absolutely do this thing differently for your kid in the future. Like, yeah, like, absolutely. Let's be inclusive. Let's make sure everybody gets to be involved. I love that. And of course, my second thought was like, wait, even if we do that, are 20 kids going to be too much for this person? Like, do we need to do this like separately on a small scale basis? Like, hey, the two of us. And so I said kind of like, yeah, you know, just the two of us, like that, like, or whatever. I just kind of said like, hey, yeah, no, in the future, let's do this at other places. And then they started asking me more questions. And I don't know, like, on the first hand, I already felt bad about not moving the location for these people and their autistic child, because clearly what they're saying is like, hey, our child is autistic and nobody wants to play with him because he's different. So please, for the love of God, include us. And like, yeah, no, I want to include you in the future. And I'm sure in their head they were also saying like, hey, please include us the first time before everybody kind of pairs off and like becomes friends and never wants to meet new friends, because that's a thing kids do. And I didn't do that. And it didn't hit me that I wasn't doing that until like later, but I totally did that. And so like, first of all, that's a whole thing. Like, that's a whole problem with, well, I'm sure like that's the nightmare reality that anybody with an autistic child has, is like the second you tell somebody your kid is autistic, they're going to immediately kind of be like, look sideways or be dismissive. And I'm sure like the other reality is if they don't do that and they do show up, then the kids are probably dismissive. And so I don't know. I could probably also just be completely projecting my assumptions of what kids do onto them and like just making this crap up. But either way, like that's what my thought process was while I was texting these people. It's like, crap, I've done something wrong. So let's make these adjustments. And so subsequently, I keep giving them more information. Like, oh, so where do you live? Like, what area do you live in? Like, oh, I live in this area. Like, oh, great, that sounds wonderful. We live pretty close to there. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can all get together. Oh my God, really? Can we get together? Can we get together in summer? This would be wonderful. We'd like to do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, we go to this, there's a quiet park over by where we go to. I don't actually know the name of it, but because apparently in our neighborhood, like all the parks have cutesy names, which is just, it's weird. Okay, I'm sorry, it's weird. It's not like Bobby's Field or like the person who bought it or whatever. It's like some cutesy name, like Kids Corner and like shit like that. Point is, I said, hey, we go to this one. It's over by this area. If you want to, like, maybe we can meet up this summer and like the kids can get together during the day or something, and it'll be fun. I don't know. Like, on the one hand, like, I totally get what's going on with these parents. Let me rephrase that. I think I get what's going on with these parents, but at the same time, they were so kind of, I don't know, clingy that I was just like, like, God, if it's this, like, maybe I don't want to, like, what's like, it's that old, I've said this before on the podcast, I'm sure, but when I was a kid, my dad always told me, like, you never want to belong to a club that would have you as a member. And of course, he always said it jokingly, but I always took it seriously, probably because of my own personal, whatever. But it was that idea of like, okay, if somebody wants you this badly, there has to be something wrong here. Like, nobody can want to be your friend this badly and have it be sincere. And so I don't know, like, I'm sure that's not what's going on. But it's like that weird conundrum of like that internal feeling where like I want to do the right thing and I want to like help like have like and fucking like, and also like ignoring like the whole do the right thing aspect of this. I also want to make sure Thea's not like a dick. Like, it just, okay, yeah, this kid has autism. Let's play. Like, let's just play anyway. Who gives a shit? It's just whatever. But yeah, like I feel like I fucked this up. I feel like I'm also fucking up the way I'm talking about this, but more importantly, I fucked this up in the moment. And like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's something I need to discuss, and I would love to hear questions or questions. Don't ask questions. Give me answers. I don't need questions. I need answers about this. Like, what is the right thing to do in this situation? What, if you have a child with autism, or if you have friends with children of autism, like what have you done, or have they asked you to do in this sort of a situation? And like, what are they going through? Because like, I feel like I want to do better about this, but I haven't. All right. So that's going to do it for this week. As always, you can find me at Chris Mossigan on Twitter. You can find Nick at NWestemeyer on Twitter. You can find the show at the _2_dumb_dads on Twitter. And you can find us at our website, 2dumbdads.com. And until next time, be well.